everyone. So I wanted to do this short live and just kind of talk to y'all about Sebastian Rogers. And the reason I wanted to talk about Sebastian is because I kind of wanted to give an update of just as far as where I'm at as his videos, his birth chart, and things like that. I'm still working on many other birth chart readings, but I'm also working on his. I still have about one more thing that I want to look into with his birth chart, but again, I'm kind of waiting for the right time to kind of go ahead and do that. I don't think that just any time is always the right time to look into something. So I'm just waiting for that pull to look into it or to want to look into it. But what I wanted to talk about with Sebastian tonight is at the very beginning, I don't know if you heard, my son come out and say something, but that is my son, Andrew, and he is also on the autism spectrum. So that is why one of the reasons why Sebastian's case is super close to me and why I continue to look into different angles of his birth chart, like what we can expect from Chris and Katie and things like that in the near future. So one of the things I wanted to talk about with Sebastian and why, his case is so important right now, why it's so important to keep looking for him and just keep saying his name, when it's necessary, and which is always, right? It's always necessary to say a missing child's name and to talk about them and make sure the whole world knows about them. So with Sebastian, what stood out about Sebastian's case to me is just the pure innocence and love that Sebastian radiates when you look at him. Pictures of him, videos of him, or you hear him like on the videos that Seth shares. He's just the sweetest sounding child. And when he speaks, he just reminds me of my son. Again, I know that Sebastian's on the spectrum as well, but I know that Sebastian was born in 2008. My son was born in 2007. So there's not a big age gap between them. They're very close in age. And my son recently just graduated high school too in May. So when that happened, all I could think about is, Sebastian being close to graduating high school and where, what would he be doing and how would he be feeling and things like that. But I guess what I'm getting at is that, if you've ever met a child on the spectrum, and given there's not one child that's the same as another on the spectrum, there's so much different about every child that I've met on the spectrum. Again, there's not one alike. But for the most part, they have that kind of same smile and that same kind of look in their eye, and that same pure love and innocence and just curiosity, So it's just heartbreaking to know in this situation that he was more than likely set up by his own mother and stepfather. You look at what you've been told and what we've been shown, evidence-wise or lack thereof, and it all points to Chris and Katie, nothing else. And nothing has really happened as far as moving forward and charging them or anything like that. And with that happening, I just think it's heartbreaking for Seth to have to continue to go through this. It has to be like hell, like being in hell every single day, waking up and not having the support that you want and that you need to help find your child. And then you think about the things that you've heard through the news or just other YouTube channels, and they talk about Sebastian had called family that morning to let them know that Katie had cooked breakfast for him, right? Had done something super sweet and loving. Something he wasn't used to, obviously, because he called his other family members to let them know that his mother did something sweet and loving for him. And that's what breaks my heart the most about that whole day and hearing the story, too, is that I always, again, think in my heart that Sebastian probably truly felt, with Chris being out of the house, that maybe things were getting better and that the relationship between his mother and him was finally turning around and that she was finally starting to love him all over again the way that she used to before he showed up. And that's what just, rips my heart out every time I think about it. And as far as his phone and things that day, I know his father, Seth, talks about him having a phone, or, that's at least his personal phone. And them talking about in the Roadhouse videos, it doesn't look like he probably has his phone. Again, I'm not sure, but I do feel that Chris and Katie took his phone from him. And if they did do that, then that's even more to me of a kidnapping, kind of putting someone in danger, because they knew, in my opinion, what they were going to do. They knew they were going to isolate him and make him disappear. And if he had his phone, just like he had it that morning, and called his family and told them, hey, guess what? My mom made me breakfast. Well, then guess what? As the day went on, he probably would have called his dad or somebody else and said, mom's doing this and mom's doing that. And it's kind of, this is weird. I'm getting really tired. I'm overwhelmed. I want to go home. And it would have set off a red flag in my mind. So the fact that they kept his phone from him, which I do in my heart feel that they did, then that opens up a whole nother door of sinister things that these two planned against him. All I can hope is that channels like the Mob Crew and channels like that continue to bring forth the inconsistencies in their stories, and hopefully someone around them one day will have a heart finally and just speak up about what's happened. I think that somebody around them definitely knows, and I think more than one person. I do think it is a conspiracy with the LE there, and hopefully, as his dad Seth keeps pushing to get answers, hopefully they start getting the people who aren't helping and the people who are blocking the truth out of office. But I kind of just wanted to share that quickly, those kind of thoughts I've had. And so I just wanted to say again, I'm sorry that it's been taking me a while to get to the live. I will be getting to it soon. But I did just want to share with y'all why Sebastian's case is important to me and why I will continue to keep looking into it. And I will also be adding to the birth charts with other people that I've been having requests for. So I do have some of the videos ready, and I'm going to be editing them, and then I will be uploading them pretty soon. So again, I apologize, it's taking me a while to get there, but I did just kind of want to share this quick thought with y'all, just because I always want to share it on my lives, and I don't always get to the thought about the phone and them keeping the phone from Sebastian. But I do think that was a big play, in this. And I think that if they wouldn't have taken his phone away from him, then he probably would have called for help, and this could have been stopped. So to me, that's a whole nother kind of charge that I don't know particularly yet exactly what that would be. But hopefully that's something that could be added on later on. So again, I want to thank y'all for sitting with me in front of the fire and listening to this thought I had about Sebastian's case. And hopefully, we can get some movement in his case soon.